I'm waving through a window that I've seen 10 times before. Where's the show that offers more? 2, 3, 4. Give me a little new music. How about a little new music? Too much time with the news has got me feeling news sick. Let's try a little new music.
This is the first time I'm premiering Mansplaining, my song from Glass Ceilings. A Little New Music is such a wonderful place to premiere a new musical theater.
I think it's great to introduce, my stuff to a new audience and also be part of a community that both values new musical theater and also supports it.
I had a song and a concert, and it felt like a really safe audience that really was in tune with what I was trying to say.
I came from the Bronx to come sing here. I'm singing Dance Floor. It's a new song from the Broadway show Talk to Me.
The song I get to perform tonight is called The Only Straight Boy in the Room, which really spoke to me.
I am singing a new song, Karner and Gregor's song called Fractured Fairy Tale. It's really exciting because we get to put our spin on it, and you're really a part of that process too, of bringing a show to reality.
Best talent in town, the best writers around the globe. It's not a casual cabaret, it's a highly produced concert.
This is my first time seeing A Little New Music. It gives you a little taste of what's new and what's to come, and it just makes me excited because I want to see every single show now.
I really think people need to come and experience hearing songs that have not been performed before. There's something incredible about hearing it for the first time.
Ballads, up-tempos, jazzy tunes, old school Broadway type of songs. Sometimes like the next Sondheim shows up, and you get to be a part of that.
Let's try a little new music. Come on, guys. Let's try a little new music. A little new music, that's the name of the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Little New Music Spotlight Series. I am Keela. I'm one of the volunteer producers here. Now, we've been bringing new musical theater to audiences since 2013, featuring over 150 writers and writing teams. And tonight marks our 10th virtual Spotlight Series, where we showcase writers one at a time.
Oh my gosh, Keela, it's already been 10 virtual shows. Hi, everyone, and thank you for being with us tonight. My name is Luke. I am also one of our producers. Happy spring 2021. And yes, we're still virtual, but you know what? Everything's going to reopen soon. We're just happy to keep bringing you incredible new music in whatever venue that we can.
So before we get started, we do want to ask for your support. Even though we are virtual, A Little New Music does rely on your support to compensate our writers and performers. We are an all-volunteer effort, so when you can, please scan the QR code to make a contribution. I think it should be...
It's just bottom right-hand corner of the screen there. That's right, Keela, and we rely on your support for these shows. We also want to thank two organizations who help us keep the lights on, the ASCAP Foundation and New Musicals Incorporated.
Amazing. So since we are live, in a few minutes, we'll be able to take some of your questions to ask our writers. So get ready to type them into the chat. Never know, your question may be asked live on the air.
You know what? Enough of the intros. Let's bring on the guests. Tonight we have the prolific writing duo of Selda Sahin and Derek Gregor. Selda and Derek wrote the original songs for the feature film American Reject and have collaborated with artists including Michael Cerveris, Rachel Dratch, Michael Thomas Grant, and Leah Salonga.
Love Leah Salonga. We'll talk about that later. Their credits also include Modern, a musical about Amish teens in Rumspringa, and the film Grind, starring Anthony Rapp, who you might know from Rent fame, available now on Amazon Prime.
That's right. Hey, everyone. Let's welcome Selda and Derek to the show.
Hello.
Hello. We are so happy to have you. Welcome.
We're very happy to be here.
Amazing. Well, your songs have appeared on a Little New Music stage 3 times, and I think you actually, both of you were able to play in one of our concerts. Was that 2019?
Yeah, it was, I think, November 2019, before the world shut down.
Right. I mean, time really flies. But we're so happy to have you here. And let's just start off with our first question. What do you like most about writing music?
You.
I love that question. For me, I think that we go through our everyday life just kind of looking for things that make songs. And it's just at any given moment, no matter what we're doing, there's always the potential of something really cool to be crystallized. And I feel like that's just like such a cool way to go about your day. And one cool example that I said recently to someone was Selda and I were in a bar in Nashville when we were on a writing trip down there. And we were sitting at this bar, and there's a bottle on the shelf that has like a lipstick mark, like it had been kissed on it. And I thought it was cool. And then Selda wrote this really cool lyric called "This Bottle's a Good Kisser." And it's this kind of old school country song about a guy who's trying to get over a breakup, and he's drinking. And I was just like, this song is just like right there, and they're everywhere if you're looking for it. So that's my favorite thing, is just to kind of, see what your friends say, see weird conversations you overhear, and whatever else inspires a song.
So it's kind of like you find songs where you least expect them, right?
Absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. And Selda and Derek, as Keela mentioned, A Little New Music, we've featured 3 of your songs over the years. So we're just going to dive in and watch some highlights from each of those. Could you tell us just a quick little bit about each of them before we watch?
Sure. So I think I'd pick The Sea Is First, and that's from our show Modern, which is about Amish kids on their Rumspringa. And it's these 2 Amish kids out in the modern world on their first, they're both Amish, but it's their first sort of traditional date in the way that we all think of dates. And then the second song is a song called Shadow of You. That was a standalone song we had written that we've now repurposed for a show that we've just started writing called Off Season. And the third song is Drive It Like You Stole It, which is also from Modern. And it is a non-Amish guy singing to an Amish kid, basically saying, like, just do whatever you want, like live your life. You think that the world is smaller than it is. Go live it.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to hear them. Let's listen.
Putting faith into currents and waves.
Only nature can choose who it loses or saves.
But the deeper the water,
the better the job.
There are oceans you're ready to cross. If one day you're going with me, I won't fear the quiet. Held hostage in a moment, try to fake a smile, try to change the scene. Every word that I can say, everyone that goes away, everyone's a shadow. Muster up the strength, say it's good to see you, offer you a drink. You're piercing through the tension, effortlessly talking, keeping me in line. everything I try to fight, every moment I found right, everything's a shadow of you. Be the beat, be the drumming, write a song somebody's humming, be the car you wanna drive, going 195, write a hymn, then rock and roll it, go so hard, you know you can't control it, drive it like you stole it. Want a girl, do less looking, be the guy that's got something cooking, you're getting stuck in second gear, go to fifth, the road is clear, take the rock, rhythm and soul, it goes so hard, you know you can't control it, drive it like you sold it, you gotta go and know it's easier to stay, don't let this life get in your way, know the road before you steer it.
Amazing. I would have actually preferred to hear that entire song, but you know, we don't have that much time. But it's so catchy and so fun. And hey, was that our special guest at the piano that night here? Was that who that was?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, on that last one, yeah.
Fantastic. So, I mean, we have so much to talk about, and we have questions, but I just I want to remind our audience: don't be shy. Put your questions into the chat. But before that, so for the both of you, what kind of stories are you most interested in telling, or what kind of stories end up just finding?
I think that for the stuff we've collaborated on together is a lot of times communities that have nothing to do with the world that we live in. Like our first real show together was Modern, which is Amish kids, and we're not Amish. But like delving into that community that's so centered around a central theme that is foreign, and like learning it, I think is cool. And then that's been every other, when you think about the gaming show, we don't have any real experience as gamers, except I played a lot of Super Mario Brothers as a kid and a little Sonic, you know, and some Tetris. But just sort of watching all of the videos of gamers and what it's like to be in esports and Twitch and all of that stuff. So I think just communities that are so unique that sort of symbolize a bigger picture for sort of humanity and all of us and all of our cultures and all of that stuff.
And it's so cool how there's so many just human themes that are all there in these communities that otherwise are very foreign to Selda and me. So yeah, I like the way that you put that though. We just kind of come across really cool, mysterious to us communities and just dig in and do our homework and make sure we try and serve them with respect.
That's awesome. So that's sort of external, but internally for the two of you, what do you enjoy the most about collaborating with each other?
Here we go. I mean, I guess.
Do you enjoy collaborating?
Or as was just asked here, Selda, is Derek hard to work with?
Well, Derek is as easy to work with as he is hard to work with, I would say. And I would imagine I'm the same. I think writing can be such a solitary thing. And so much of it can be done on your own, right? There's so many writers and writing teams that just sit in a room and write their part and then get together. And sometimes we do that too. But being able to sort of sit in a room and really hash out ideas and why, I might not want to talk. We were writing today. I might not want to talk about a better option because I don't feel like it. But Derek will say, "Oh, no, I don't get why you said that. I'm like, we can talk about it later." No, it's like it just makes the product better, and it also is more social and fun. I would say that I'm very reward driven, so it's sort of like if we get X like task done, we get to go to dinner, we get to take a break, we get to have a drink, so it just is more fun, I think.
It's a pretty social thing for Selda and me when we write. Like we're best friends, we're roommates, we're always talking about either it's work or not work, and it kind of flows. So it never feels like we're getting together for an assignment, for better or worse. Also, to be clear,
Derek is not Selda and I'm not Derek. I just realized that the Selda and Derek is flipped. Well, we should have flipped. I'm Selda.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about the origins of how you met, where you met, and do you remember your first interaction? And what was the first Broadway show that you attended together as friends?
We met when I was still on the fence about being a director or a writer. I'd just been sort of hovering. I was right out of college and just hovering over, do I want to be a director or a writer? And I directed a show that Derek wrote with Sam Carter, who's also we're all very, very good friends. And I sort of realized, well, directing probably wasn't my thing. And the three of us became really good friends. And then we became roommates.
But the show, like, she did well when she directed the show.
I did very well.
It was a success in terms of what she did, but it was the clarifying moment for her to realize that she really would rather focus on writing entirely. So you just have to say that, because otherwise people think that you sucked at directing the show.
I did it right. Yeah, I did good. I held my own for a 23-year-old or whatever it was. And then we sort of became roommates, and a couple of actually the first song we wrote together was for Sam and my childhood friend's wedding. Sam ended up marrying a childhood friend of mine, and we wrote a song for their wedding. And then sort of that, and we were living, I think we were roommates at that time. And that sort of just spun into, well, we lived together, let's just write. And then it turned into a bigger thing than we ever anticipated. So.
I mean, it's a little bit of a leap from let's write a song for the wedding together to let's write shows together.
It took a couple of years.
There were a couple external forces that kind of, one thing led to another in terms of having a chance to write together. So the second, not that you asked, but the second thing was, so we'd written that one song, and then she has a friend who works at a theater in Tennessee, and he's like a fancy Broadway stage manager, but he also goes back to that theater and is involved there because that's where he came from. And he threw together this huge benefit to raise money for them. He brought in some really cool people, and he asked Selda and me to write kind of the opening number. Mm-hmm. So we did that, and that was just another thing that was like, just as friends, and all of a sudden we built more chemistry with each other, and then that was really cool to be in that theater with these really cool performers and stuff. So that was another baby step. What's that?
Where was the theater?
Crossville, Tennessee.
It's called Cumberland County Playhouse.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then Would Grind, which is a short film that you mentioned with Anthony Rapp, we were just roommates and started that with our friend Zach Halley, who was a roommate of ours. The three of us were living together on 54th Street here in the city, and it was just supposed to be a hobby, and then just like one thing led to another, and it just kind of became more of a thing. So
I was gonna say, how many roommates do you have? Like, I feel like there's a lot of roommates.
It's been a while. It's been a few years. Yeah.
Zach was our third. Now it's only just the two of us.
So I think part of Keela's question was your first Broadway musical that you saw together.
Sunday in the Park with George.
That revival of Sunday in the Park with George, which is my favorite show ever.
It would have been 2009, I think.
No, earlier.
2008?
Maybe, yeah, I think that's right.
8. Yeah, something like that.
Right, that was Mary Beth Peil was in that. That was the Broadway debut for Santino Fontana.
Really?
Oh, really? I did know that.
I did not know
There
that.
we go. Well, you know what, y'all? We wouldn't be a Little New Music if we didn't bring our audience some new and unheard musical theater. And so now we're going to watch something that you both just wrote, right? In the last couple weeks?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So could you tell us a little bit about the song that we're about to watch?
This is from a show Selda and I are writing called Particle, and it follows a group of young professional video gamers. And this character who sings it, his gaming avatar is Afternoon Assassin, and he's basically one of the best gamers in the world. He's never made it to a championship, but he's one of the stars. And this is the night before he has finally made it to the championship game. And he realizes he's having trouble with his hand. He's having like tendonitis, which he's been hiding from everybody. His coach knows, but nobody else really does. And this is when he realizes that he can't compete tomorrow. He'll be tanking it for his team. So he decides to let the alternate go in and to basically retire. And Selda, you should mention the detail that you always, what was it, the tower?
Oh, the whole point of the game is to capture the tower. And this guy specifically, his role in his team is to get the tower.
And you'll hear about that in the song.
Yeah, feels relevant. That's true.
One game turned into 20, then 20 to a ton. I corrected each mistake. It took all that time to get to here. The tower's so close, but it isn't mine to take. There are plays I never mastered, levels never passed, moves I still wanna make. There's a game to play tomorrow, with the tower so close, but it isn't mine to take. Time won't stop, it keeps on going, and we don't always get to choose when we go dark or when we're glowing. It doesn't care about our cues. One more night, I won't make it, but I got us this far. Doesn't take the sting out of the ache. I did the guts without the glory, and the tower's so close, but it isn't mine to take. So you're changing your direction, the ride you're on is ending. So what? Make it to the other side. Now it's someone else's tower, someone else's ride. Time won't stop, it keeps on going, and we don't always get to choose when we go dark or when we're glowing. It doesn't care about our cues. It's still your path, just from a distance. It's still your world that's gonna shake. You led the way, you found the tower. Now it's theirs to take. It isn't mine to take.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, folks. You heard it right here. This is what we do. We bring you new music We've got the composers here. We're just so happy to have you. Boy, he has some pipes.
Yeah, maybe he's been on Broadway or The Voice or
all of the above.
All those things.
Gabe's amazing. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. He is amazing. We're going to take questions from our audience in just a minute. So make sure you're putting questions in the comments, y'all. But in the meantime, can you tell us a little bit about how you collaborate as a team with other performers, other writers? Sort of like we've heard about how you collaborate with each other, but how do you sort of collaborate with someone who maybe isn't a writer or, who comes in and has like a different perspective on your work? Or
do you want me to start and you can go? I'll have a shorter answer and Derek will definitely have a longer answer. I think both of us wrote independently before we wrote together and then started writing together and through just our lives, we ended up writing with friends that were singers and just sort of, you know what, I'm gonna let you take this. I was about to go down a certain path and I was like, it's gonna be a 10-minute explanation.
I think we started because we started off so casually, Selda and I started off just like writing just for fun as friends, and then we would inevitably, collaborate with some other people along the way. And now that we're doing this more, professionally, we carry that kind of, I don't know, whatever that muscle is, we still exercise it. So we love getting in the room with like singers or other writers, and we do that a lot. And a lot of times, what I love most about it is people who want to write songs and are brilliantly talented, but don't do it on their own and don't always think that that's something that they can do. And we've had the good fortune of co-writing with some people that just like we all fill in the blanks for each other. Especially great vocalists, because neither Selda or I is like a real top-notch singer. So when you can write through like someone's voice and you're following their instincts and the melodies are just flying out of them, and then Selda is able to organize maybe what the structure of the lyric is doing or tweak some rhymes or some sound patterns, and then I can maybe play with some chord stuff but just follow the singer like a sports car. That's really fun. But each collaboration comes in different shapes and sizes. I feel like every single time we work on a new song, I want to work with at least a great singer with great instincts who's willing to just roll their sleeves up and kind of offer their own instincts. Gabe Violet, who just sang that last song, is a perfect example of someone like that. Eric Kropp, also, who sang the Drive It Like You Stole It, the third song from the little montage. He really finishes, the thoughts with us as well. So it's really cool.
What you're saying is that you don't naturally hit an A flat. That's something that only Gabe can do.
Yeah.
And it's only if he has the right amount of whiskey, he's very good at it. But it's not too much and not too little. It's like the perfect sweet spot.
That's the joy. That's the joy of collaboration. It really is a collaborative effort, and that's all about finding your tribe, right? It's just being with those who love and making music, and it's so clear from what you've shown us and given us that it's a very close-knit family that you've got going on. So
we take it really seriously to try and cultivate that and to make sure that we remember that.
So I think we had a question pop up, but we're going through a few of the comments. But there's something a question from Keith Anthony.
You both have such great exposure to the songwriting world of stage and screen. If you could change anything about either industry, what would it be?
I don't even know where to start with that. That's a loaded question.
I think
our audience likes loaded questions.
I was like, where do you start? We're talking like huge, big picture, small picture.
What's
I think that, I think with theater, my one thought would be that there's a lot of effort when you're developing a show to kind of keep trying to get it as perfect as possible. And there's like such a long process, and they say it's like 6 to 12 years to get a show to a production. And I've experienced that myself. And it's just I just sometimes feel like they squeeze some of the stuff out of it that's great, and a show doesn't have to structurally be perfect. Or I think the jagged edges, the loose ends, are some of the things that can be cool. So I wish that wasn't the culture always, and you could just pump a show out and just let it fly after like 3 years and just move on to the next one. Because if the story's great and if the team is on the same page, you know, you're going to have something special, and then you can move on. Because people spend so much time working on one piece, and they're trying to get, and it's just like, that's my thing. As far as screen, I think there's probably a million things that people can say about that, but you're the ones in LA, so we're gonna just stick to theater right now for this conversation.
All right. Well, we have a question here. Does your process change when writing songs for musical theater versus Nashville?
Well, Derek has a cowboy hat when we go to Nashville, and that's so true. Yeah, I guess I personally think fundamentally songwriting is songwriting, and the muscles that you're using to write a song are not that different in musical theater. There's just a different form and different rules. And I'm sure that Charlie, and I don't know if it was Charlie or Tim that put that, there's somebody that's going to say something that's more specific or more contrary than that. But I do think that you have to write good songs. And there are great examples of musical theater songs that work in the country music market and country music songs that work in musical theater. So you have to decide, what are my values? What is it I'm trying to accomplish? And why am I writing the song? And go from there. But I guess it's more collaborative in Nashville, but they are also, there's 1 or 2 or 3 writers, but as in theater, you have 1 or 2 or 3 writers, but you also have a director, a choreographer, a ton of actors, musical directors, and 5,000 other people.
Actors are the worst too. Actors are the worst.
I've worked with almost exclusively amazing actors, but I have heard horror stories. But I guess it's you pick your poison, right?
Yeah, I think it's the same principles apply. You just like be open, show up on time, and just collaborate, and maybe practice the piano or the guitar before you go into the session. Make sure you're not rusty. I don't know. I just do the same thing for all of it.
And be mildly pleasant to be around, I think.
Being mildly pleasant is underrated.
It's just be fun to be around. I think that should be a baseline.
Shout out Spotlight series alum Kion Hersey just said, "Hey, what's up to y'all?"
We love Kion.
Cool. Love him.
So Eric Cornwell has a question. Keely, want to ask it?
So Eric asks, what is a writing tip? And have you been able to do any recently?
I think the question is writing trip.
The lights are so bright, it's really hard to see. What is a writing trip? And have you been on one recently?
Yeah, you take it.
So the answer is yes, we have been on one recently, but a lot of our initial writing grind, the movie, the short film we did, and the EP we wrote with Eric Kropp were done on writing retreats. So that used to be a thing we did a lot. And then, you go away, you live in a house for whether it's a weekend or whether it's 5 days, whatever it is, and you write and there are no distractions. You're in a new city, maybe you go see a new restaurant, back when restaurants were open. But we have been very, very lucky we were just in Montana with Eric Kropp last month, a month ago?
Yeah,
last month to write a whole bunch of new songs through what is that theater called? ATP. ATP in Whitefish, Montana, Alpine Theater Project. And they brought us out there. We wrote 7 songs. And they're bringing us back out there next week to finish off 4. So,
amazing.
But especially when we co-write with other people, a lot of times, whether it's through like a more formal channel, like someone bringing us out to do it, or whether we just do it ourselves, we love just retreats. We just do like that's how it's like.
Sounds more like musical theater collaborative boot camp.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, it's nice to get out of your environment. You know, as great. I love my apartment and I love the environment, but it changes everything up to just be no distractions. I love my dog, but no walking the dog, no, oh, I'm downstairs. Do you want to come have a drink with me? No, I can't. I'm not in town right now. You know.
And I think there's been enough musicals written about New York City. We don't need another.
That's probably
true. Do we have time for one more audience question? Just Keela, you do a check on that. I don't know if we do.
I mean, we have questions for you too.
That's true.
We have a few more questions we ask every Spotlight Series writer. So are you both ready for your spotlight?
Are we?
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, so what was the first musical you ever saw?
I saw Cats in Detroit, Michigan.
Ooh.
Nice, yeah.
Was that a regional production of both? Or was there?
Mine was a touring company at the Fox Theater in Detroit. I was probably 11, maybe ish, 11.
Mine was in the mid '80s. I don't know. Was that the original? I don't even know when it was written. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There was not a revival in the '80s.
I don't know.
I remember the ads growing up in Detroit. I remember the ads for that production.
And I saw it with my cousin who was just visiting from California, and my parents just like left us at the theater. My parents were watching this. They didn't leave us delinquently. But they got us tickets to the show and left us at the theater. And I didn't like it. And I now see its merits, but at the time I did not like it. And my cousin fell asleep. My cousin Jamie and my sister, I think my sister Sarah probably stayed awake, but I did not love it.
Did you see the film?
No, I'm saving that for a special occasion.
So I have to ask Derek, how old were you when you saw La Cage aux Folles?
Not going to say. There's too much math that can be done. I'm just going to let it.
He was 21. It was crazy.
I was just wondering, like, did your parents?
I was I was probably like 5 or 4. And I don't know why. I think that they had tickets. We would see a lot of shows and like operas and stuff because my father had a lot of like tickets through his job. So they may be watching right now, and I have no idea why.
But you saw everything, right? As a kid?
But I saw a lot of things.
Yeah.
Excellent. Our second question in our series of 3 questions is: who would you drop everything to go see perform live, whether they're still with us today or not?
You go.
You go.
My answers are so, but I stand behind them. They're basic, but I stand behind them. And both of them are alive. Stephen Sondheim and John Bon Jovi. And I've seen John Bon Jovi and Stephen Sondheim perform, but I would still drop everything to watch them.
Would you go to see them perform together?
Oh my goodness, absolutely, yes. Can we try to make that happen?
We have some power here at ALittleNewMusic.
Mine would be Leonard Bernstein.
Good answer.
Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart.
Good answer.
And probably Hank Williams.
Ooh, awesome. Did you see the country music documentary that Ken Burns did on PBS?
Yeah.
I've seen parts of it.
That segment on Hank Williams is just mesmerizing. Incredible.
Yeah, the whole thing was cool. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, Chris Baldwin.
Wait, Keela, we haven't even asked our third question.
Okay, great. Let's do it. Okay. Sometimes these questions, they just pop up and, I want to be in the moment. So who's going to play you in the musical version of your life?
I hate my answer. You go.
Christian Bale. Because he could do anything.
He will transform into you.
You know what I would say? I was just thinking, if I was going to say who would play Derek in a movie version, it would be Bradley Cooper. That makes more sense to me.
Bradley Cooper. Yeah.
I'm gonna go. My answer is again sort of basic. I'm gonna go Sarah Jessica Parker. She's got the curly hair. I'm going with it. I'm sticking with my story.
We've had a lot of comments about your hair tonight.
It's my sister. My sister is the one making the comments. And bless her heart.
I feel, an 11 o'clock number that will be composed about your hair.
It did. I did. Derek told me to push it to the side, and it seems to be working. My sister liked it. So.
Excellent. All right. So before we wrap up, is there anything that you want to tell us about what's next for you?
Sure. Well, I guess, no, you go. You're more concise than I am.
Yeah,
I'll just keep going and going.
You can do it.
We're doing, so we've been working on 2 musicals during the COVID times. And we are doing a workshop of the gaming show, the one that Gabe sung the song from. We're doing that in September at Michigan State. Michigan State's here. And then we're doing a workshop production of Modern at Bloomington Playwrights Project in December or January, either December of this year or January 2022.
And we're going back to Montana.
And we're going back to Montana in a week.
We're going in a week
We're
for
going to
another
Flint.
round of writing with him.
Amazing.
So.
Yeah, bunch of little things.
And I think, Keela, you mentioned it earlier. I want to remind our audience that your movie Grind with Anthony Rapp,
short film,
is available on Amazon Prime.
It is.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that. That's fancy.
Great. And I will check that out. That is going to be on my queue, as they say. Right?
Add it to your list. You click the little plus.
My list, right. So, we can't thank you both enough for being with us. For our audience members, you can watch Selda and Derek's songs, many others that have performed on A Little New Music stage. Just go to youtube.com/ALittleNewMusic and search for the playlist A Little Selda and Derek.
Ooh, I love that.
It's cool.
And we want to remind our audience, too, that you can help us bring even more writers on future shows by scanning that QR code, which you've had on the bottom of the screen, and giving whatever you can. Your contributions compensate our writers, our performers, including these 2 incredible folks we've had with us tonight.
We'd like to give a shout out to the team working behind the curtain, as they say, who helped to make tonight possible. Here is our executive producer of Spotlight Series, Amy Francis Schott. Come on, Amy.
Hi, everybody. I'm not sure what that noise came from. I hope it wasn't me. Thank you guys so much for being part of this. I'm so thrilled. And seriously, y'all, go to our YouTube, watch those songs, get all of Shadow of You. It's just beautiful. You guys write so much awesome music. I want to thank Ryan Baldwin, who taught me everything I know about StreamYard, and Travis Leland, who's been in the chat with you guys and sending you all the good and useful links and all of that. And come back in 2 weeks, we will have Katya Stanislavskaya, and she will have some great music for you too. I know she's been working on some exciting things during the pandemic, and I can't wait to see what she's got in store for us.
We're just keeping the shows coming, y'all. So we'll be back in a couple of weeks. We want to thank Peter Welkin and Chris Makish, who have continued to give us their continued support of our work.
We also like to acknowledge the ASCAP Foundation, Google it, and New Musicals Incorporated for their support.
Selda, Derek, thank you again for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, and
good night, everybody.
Good night.